The surprise release of this game had me entertained all week long. Last time we got this game was when it released on kick-ass consoles like the PS2 and the OG Xbox, which was around 2003. But it wasn't well remembered. Those who did play it said it was disappointing and broken. I'm guessing the broken part was the disappointment, because after grinding like crazy, just trying to understand all these playable characters and everything about the game, it is true. It is very true that many characters do not work well like they should. But now that this game has been re-released, did the devs fix any of this? Unfortunately, it's a big 10-4 on the no meter. I'm enjoying the hell out of this game, but it feels like they just copied and pasted the arcade ROM into this new port. Let me tell you about the good things first. For starters, this game includes characters from KOF, Street Fighter, Samurai Showdown, one or two other peeps from games like Darkstalkers, Red Earth, Ghosts and Goblins, Metal Slug, and Mega Man. It's an interesting combination, right? When do you get to see these kinds of characters duking it out? When it comes to the game's display, you can add scan lines, smoothen the image, add or remove the flicker filter, or throw in a background wallpaper, but only 3 options to choose from. That's okay, I guess. The Samurai Showdown collection included like 30 background images to choose from, but I guess this is better than nothing. However, there are slim vertical black bars to the left and right side of the game's screen, regardless of whether you include a frame art image. So what's that all about? Kind of ruins the appearance a bit, doesn't it? I know I'm a nitpicker when it comes to these things, but the way I see it, if you're gonna include this feature, you gotta do it right. This is the character select screen. Yeah, it looks good, but it's hiding a lot of secret characters. And the ones that are visible, well, you better browse quickly. Why? Because for some reason, the devs did not remove the 15-second timer that was part of the arcade version so that players don't waste time after inserting credits like with every other arcade game. And that's where I get my conclusion as to why this game feels like the devs just copied and pasted or dragged the arcade ROM over here. There are 12 secret characters, yeah, 12! And the devs decided to make it easy for us players by already having them unlocked. By simply holding the L1 button on the PS4 version, it'll reveal the secret characters hiding behind the character slots in the 2 centered columns. It would have been even better if they had just thrown in 2 extra columns like shown in this image. But you can't really view them all with patience because of that 15-second timer. I'm glad we could select all those secret characters from the start, but get that timer out of there, man. The one thing you really want to admire here are the character sprites. The SNK devs put a lot of effort into making whole new sprites for the Capcom characters. Half the character roster is dedicated to SNK characters, and the other half to Capcom ones. So you have plenty of character sprites to admire, especially when you have secret ones that appear for like Dimitri's ultimate. Same goes for when Athena defeats her opponents. They transform. It's amazing. My favorite sprites would be Chun-Li, Dimitri, Sagat. Those designs are just off the hook. Look at Chun-Li. Look at them legs. And the colors they went with are just, they're like the perfect touch. This game's got a dark theme to it, so it makes sense to make Capcom characters fit the tone. The story here is that there was a cataclysmic event which took out all life on their planet, and these particular characters are in purgatory because Athena, not Asamiya, and Red Armor, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but the guy from Ghosts and Goblins, they have set up a tournament, and whoever wins gets a wish granted. Interesting, right? We got ourselves a story that's not just a tournament, but a competition that involves both heaven and hell. And since the winner gets to be granted a wish, then the character endings won't be repetitive and we get to see what each character wishes for. That has to be a fun accomplishment, right? You choose a character, defeat all 8 opponents, then face off against the final boss in heaven or hell. That's right, 2 final bosses to choose from. Well, 3 or 4 if you count Mr. Karate and Shinakuma. The soundtrack to this game is exactly what I loved about the early KOF games. It's been a long time since I've heard like a great fighting game soundtrack, and even though this game isn't technically new since it released back in 2003, I don't think I ever did play this game. I always got it confused with Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. But anyways, this is pretty much my first time exploring this game, and the one thing I can't forget about mentioning is its soundtrack. There are at least 7 tracks that I love here, starting with Ruined Town, Abandoned Factory stage theme. I'd say this is my #1 favorite theme in this game. It feels like you're facing off against your rival when this plays in the background. It pumps you up the second the fight begins. I can't believe I've gone my whole life not hearing this track. I mean, this one or the other ones in the game. I dig them. I'm just saying, you better believe you'll be hearing these tracks in the background of future vids for sure. They're so cool, I'm gonna find any excuse I can just to include them. This other one is called Church Groove from the church stage. And what do you think? Does it remind you of anything? Not religious stuff, I'm talking about fighting game tracks that represent a church stage, and which games have pulled it off right. To me, this reminds me of the church stage theme from Mortal Kombat 3. I love it when they use these instruments for a church theme. Makes perfect sense. I'm satisfied with the characters we got here. Normally, when it comes to choosing who gets to be in a crossover fighting game, for Samurai Shodown we would usually get like Haomaru or Nakaruru. But this time, we got Shiki, Earthquake, and Genjuro. These to me are great choices. With Earthquake around, I kinda wish that they threw in Chang Goihan, especially since this game includes dialogue before the fight begins, and this is one of my favorite things about the game. It's a small feature that goes a long way by showing us how these characters react before facing off against their opponent. But the devs need to, slow down the freaking text. They gotta fix the speed of their interactions because it's almost like the game is fast forwarding through the dialogue. I don't know who reads this fast, but I'm pretty sure they too would agree. Aside from that, this game comes with plenty of character endings. They also throw in good and bad endings, depending on your results throughout the arcade run. Which all sounds fantastic, right? Well, here's where we get the biggest problem. For me, I love fighting games. I love when characters get to display their attitude and personalities around others, and which is what this game has given us, right? I love when a fighting game gives us a sub-boss fight, and then the final boss fight. I love it even more when they include a secret boss fight. And the cherry on top of that classic arcade run is by ending things off with that character ending. The game gives us all of that. However, there is one huge problem: the conditions required to reach these things. If you want to face off against Red, the guy from Ghosts and Goblins, in Hell, you need to win at least 5 rounds with a special move or ultimate, and defeat at least one opponent using block damage, and you cannot lose a single round. A single round! Ladies and gentlemen, that is what I call rap sensation ludicrous. How the hell did these devs come up with these conclusions? Did they not bother trying to reach the true final bosses themselves? I tried my ass off just to reach either of these final bosses, and it's nearly impossible. I know I'm not the best fighting game player out there, but if my ass can manage to beat Magaki in KOF 11 in the first fight, I live streamed it by the way, so you can see for yourselves that I'm not kidding, but my ass could defeat him without a rematch, then I think I can safely say that these requirements to face off against either Athena or Red are flat out absurd. I tried making things easier without dumbing down the AI's difficulty because I still want a good fight. I want to learn, I don't want to breeze through all these opponents. I want that secret boss fight to be earned and the character ending as well. But the way I have like to set the settings just to go get that slight chance of reaching these requirements, it still just feels cheap. For example, I gotta make it only 1 round per fight. I have to make my power gauge bar like always on max, and have the exceed, aka max ultimate or max desperation move set to unlimited. But I shit you not when I say that even with these settings on, I still can't reach those requirements. You know why? Because you face off against 4 overpowered characters. 4! There are up to 9 stages, the 9th being the secret one that's nearly impossible to reach. And only by reaching and beating the 9th opponent will it grant you your character ending. But also, in the 4th stage, depending on your conditions, you'll fight a specific sub-boss. In order to fight either Zero, Dimitri, Geese, or the Mars people, as they're simply referred to in this game, you'll need to not lose a single round, do not win any rounds through a timeout, and you must win the previous 3 fights with your exceed move, which again is another word for max ultimate. But if you don't meet these requirements, then you'll face off against either Dan or Goinitz. These characters all stand a high chance of beating you at least in 1 round, so you can see how your chances of reaching the 9th fight are already slim. Then, in the 7th and 8th stages, you'll face off against another 2 sub-bosses. It'll be either Orochi Yori or Violent Ken. Yeah, Violent Ken is back. Isn't that cool? This is the first time, like the first appearance of his where you can play as Evil Ken. So that's pretty cool. Except for the part where he stomps the hell out of you before you can even reach the 9th stage. It's thanks to these conditions that it just ruins the fun. Because I want to beat these characters without spamming infinites that are ultimates, right? Well, without spamming infinite ultimates. But these conditions force you to do this. So what do you face off against after defeating either Orochi Yori or Violent Ken? Well, another boss! This time it's either Serious Mr. Karate or Shin Akuma, both whom spam the shite out of their ultimate projectiles. So what do you think's gonna happen? They pummel your ass left and right. They're aggressive as hell, dude. It's like I'm fighting Broly and Supersonic Warriors 2 all over again. You have to out-spam the bastards. And that's the only way you stand the slightest chance of beating them. Sure, you can play as the final main boss character themselves, right? And since their ordinary special moves act as ultimates, then winning should be a breeze. Well, what about the other character endings? If you're thinking of loopholes like running through the entire arcade run with Athena, then purposely lose in the 9th stage so you can switch characters and try to get their ending, well, think again. These buttholes only give you 1 shot against the final boss in the 9th stage. Lose once, and it's game over. After trying countless times to reach the 9th stage, regardless of who I got to fight, I just wanted to reach it. But out of all these characters, I only managed to reach the 9th stage once.
Battle Chiryu Drop!
I have yet to view all the character endings since I'm running on hope that the devs will throw in some patches to fix all these ridiculous requirements. Make it easier, right? Obviously. Seems like the only thing the devs worked on was the main menu, a gallery mode, and of course the online mode, which I'm very happy with, including a lobby, spectator mode, replay saves, and rollback. It's perfect. But the broken mechanics, man, that's very important if you want to have a good match against your online opponents. See, when it comes to performing certain moves, they either don't connect when they should, or they connect when they shouldn't. There was this online match I had earlier this week where I won a match because my character Kyo Kusanagi, he landed his flame punch on the opponent that was right behind him. He punched out the air in front of him, but the opponent behind Kyo got KO'd? The devs included a hitbox feature, but what's the point if these are the kinds of results you still end up with? Again, I am enjoying the hell out of this game, but the devs did not bother to fix the issues that fans had back when the game first released, so they better get to it. The PS2 and OG Xbox versions of this game removed the timer and the character select screen and included a survival mode. You telling me they got something better shit than we do? Come on, devs, you got this. Please continue to support this game, because I know I will. You'll find me in the online lobby for sure. Here's another problem I totally forgot about because of trying to reach the 9th stage, because losing one round means you need to start all over, right? But did you know that the game only gives you 3 continues per arcade run? Yeah. Ain't that some shit? And you can't change it either, so what's up with that? Overall, I think the pros outshine the cons. The cons are annoying, but we do have an online mode now. And it's got everything you'd want from an online mode for a fighting game, and I think that's commendable. Especially when we got an online mode for a game that did not have an online mode back in my era. That's a good thing in my book. That's always a good thing. But, with that said, that's it for the video. Special thanks to my patrons. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you want to see some more weekly content, then hop over to my Patreon where I post exclusive content, exclusive vids, updates on current projects, and the latest artwork based on the comics I've been working on. You can also show your support by getting a hold of the channel merch. Yeah. I also opened up a new Twitter account to post artwork and memes, so there's that. Anyways, I'll see you all next time, and remember to have an awesome day.